All units of Corps artillery had by this time completed landing. Japanese troops, driven from the south side of Orote Peninsula, counterattacked west of Abo. The 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, then moved into position along Old Agat Road to block the enemy escape route from the peninsula. Another battalion of the 4th Marines organized the high ground south of Atantanto and established contact with the 77th Division. The 77th Division, in the meantime, had assumed command of the 1st Brigade sector and that portion of the force beachhead line which it contained. By the end of the 5th day, our lines were disposed like this. On the morning of W+5, the 3rd Division attacked, meeting stiff resistance on its eastern flank, but making progress along the rest of its line. That same morning, the brigade, resuming its attack, met extremely heavy opposition on its left flank and overran many caves and well-dug-in positions in the face of fire from small arms, mortars, light and heavy anti-aircraft guns, and artillery. By daylight, however, it was discovered that enemy forces of considerable strength had infiltrated the beachhead, and all units of the division, including Pioneers and Headquarters Battalion, began clearing them out. Many hundreds of Japs were killed in the mopping up within our lines, which by the end of W+6 were still intact. The 3rd Division resumed its attack, meeting strong resistance on the center and again on the left flank. Because many enemy positions were defilated, artillery was of little value, and strong points had to be slowly reduced by frontal assaults. Below here in the brigade sector, this same morning, the attack on Orote Peninsula was resumed. The 4th Marines, advancing rapidly toward the airfield, were stopped and held against well-prepared enemy defenses delivering their fire from high ground. Meanwhile, on the right flank, the 22nd Marines failed to coordinate its attack by 1 hour due to pressure from Jap artillery. Underway, its advance was delayed by impenetrable mangrove swamps, which caused it to divert its attack to this vicinity. On W+8, the 3rd Division was still feeling heavy enemy resistance on its left, but only scattered pocket opposition was encountered along the rest of the line of advance. The force beachhead line in this zone of action was taken, securing a beachhead from which to advance the attack, relatively free from Jap observation. Also, the occupation of high ground on Mount Chichao and Mount Alutam, as well as the attainment of Mount Tenyo by the 77th Division, which would enable us to observe the enemy north and east of our own lines. On Orote Peninsula, the 1st Brigade, supported by air and artillery, was continuing to advance against heavy opposition. The firefight was carried to the Sumai Road, on the north side of which, in the vicinity of the old Marine Corps barracks, the Japs had prepared positions. In the late afternoon, the enemy forces broke and ran. Advancing rapidly, the 22nd Marines occupied these positions for the night, and the next morning, W+9 continued the attack against heavy resistance, supported by M10 tank destroyers and the 77th Division. By the end of W+9, 29 July, after 10 days of hard fighting, the first phase of the Guam operation had been successfully concluded. Our total casualties for this period were 5,944, with 954 killed in action, as against 5,482 known enemy dead, plus 48 captured. The capture of Orote Peninsula ended all organized resistance within our beachhead and placed in our hands an airfield which would soon be operational for light planes. It also delivered to us Apra Harbor, whose facilities would greatly expedite the unloading of supplies and equipment, as well as provide a suitable area for a seaplane base. The second phase of the Guam operation was ready to start. Batteries from Corps artillery laid down heavy interdiction and harassing fire on the enemy supply and bivouac area. Regiments of the 3rd Marine Division, together with those of the 77th Army Division, advanced rapidly toward the eastern side of the island, thus establishing a line across Guam which cut off any communication between enemy forces north and south. The 1st Provisional Marine Brigade, with the 305th Regimental Combat Team, took over the defense sector and continued mopping up operations in this area. Occupation of the largest and capital city, Agana, was concluded against scattered resistance. On 1 August, W+11, the 3rd Marine Division on the left flank and the 77th Army Division on the right, the line of action turned and moved toward the large concentration of enemy forces in the northern portion of the island.